Hi, and welcome to Have a Chat. I'm Veronique Arsenault, your host today, and with my wonderful, exceptionally, fabulously brilliant co-host, Judy Loge.
Oh, and that commercial was brought to you by Rogers. Thanks, Veronique.
You know what? I take every opportunity.
I know, because you're a kind person.
Audrey, of course, couldn't be with us today.
No.
She had some other things going on.
She does have this.
Yeah.
Tied up for a bit.
Yeah, so we're here together.
Sure.
Which is okay.
Nice.
I know. We missed Audrey last week, but we'll be glad when she comes back.
We will. So when it's raining, but if it's a welcome rain, we need it.
Well, I think so, but that wind is pretty wicked.
I know, but it's been a beautiful fall, and we can never complain. It's been one of the nicest we've ever had.
It's true.
Actually.
It's true. I mean, it was 25 degrees last week.
I know. We got a lot done in the yard, and things put away. Took advantage of the sunshine. Beautiful.
You have our wonderful quote of the day.
I have a quote. I don't know how wonderful it is, but it's
sure
very cute, and it's very true.
Yes.
A grandmother always pretends she doesn't know who you are on Halloween.
It's true.
And that's by Irma Bombeck.
It's true.
I remember taking my kids to my mother's home, and it wouldn't matter what height they were, what shape they were. She knew it was them.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously. But, well, now, what would you be? You can't be a Power Ranger. Who are you underneath that costume? And they delighted in trying to pretend that they were fooling her.
I remember it was the first year I moved home, so it would have been 11 years ago. You and I took Jansen trick-or-treating.
Yes, we did. I remember that very, very freshly.
Yeah. And then it was my first time trick-or-treating in a long time.
Yeah, it's fun.
And then we went back to your house, and 300 other trick-or-treaters came to your door.
Yeah, that's what we expect again. So I broke the rule. I bought my food, like I said last week, and I strategically planned to not buy it too close to Halloween. So I did buy some recently, and I dug into the chips. I broke into the chip box. Because I'm a chip fiend. And so now I have to go and buy a few more. But I'm prepared. I would rather have much more candy and chips than I would less and run out.
Understandable.
Okay, so I'm prepared. But I broke the barrier, Veronique. My biggest fear in life, spiders.
You know what? I can't. Spiders don't bother me, but the story you're about to tell, I'm just like.
Well, I told you because that's my number one fear. Number one fear in life is dying.
Yes.
Second is spiders.
Yep.
Or actually, the first. No, let me correct all this. The first fear in life is public speaking. Second is dying. And third is spiders.
Really?
So I've conquered the public speaking.
Yes.
Now
exceptionally well.
Yeah, well, you too. So now the spider thing, I thought I'm going to push through this fear, and I bought a huge, huge 3-foot by something spider, fuzziest thing you ever saw, furry, gray, and hung it up where my chimes normally are in the house. And so I've conquered that now.
Good for you,
I look
Judy.
at that creature every time I walk in and out of my house.
And how do you feel?
I'm okay with it now.
You're okay?
I'm moving on.
Really? See, now I have, I'm going to call it a phobia because it is.
Yeah.
Because I hyperventilate and faint when I see snakes.
I know you do.
And so
I'll keep this one here then.
Yeah, thank you. I can't even see them on TV.
No.
So it's in some parts of my life affected my life, right? Because of course Dad has lived in Middle Eastern and African countries for the last 20 some odd years.
Where they're plentiful.
Yes, and they tend to eat you over there.
Yeah.
So I have not actually experienced some of the really cool things that I would have liked to have seen because of my fear. Now, it hasn't stopped me from going to Africa, but I've actually considered having hypnosis.
Okay. I can help you with that.
Because
I'm a great big snake in your front door and you'll have to move fast.
And then I'll just, I'll just faint. And that'll be the end of me. Yeah, but I've considered, because I really want to get over it.
I took my first step. So
good for you,
it's my
Judy.
first.
Good for you.
Yes.
So we talked about Halloween, and that's coming up, of course, tomorrow.
Boy's birthday.
That's right.
I have a son, Evan. He is going to be 26 on Halloween.
I can't believe it.
And he's in Ottawa. He's in his 4th year of medical school, so he's there doing his elective. And then he's moving on to Montreal, and then Windsor, Winnipeg, Calgary. In their 4th year, they choose to go to these various places to learn more about the subjects and to learn more, period, about the medical aspects of all of these different areas.
Not a bad spot to spend a birthday, though, in Ottawa.
No, happy birthday, Evan. And to my nephew, also born on Halloween, Trent. He will be 10 tomorrow.
Isn't that incredible?
So they're 2 boys born 16 apart, my sisters
my
and mine.
goodness.
And my nephew Aiden's in Montreal, and his is the 28th of October. So we're kind of like the Addams family.
We have so many birthdays in October
We
in
do.
the family. Like it's
crazy.
It starts on the 8th with your anniversary,
Right.
and then it goes right until tomorrow.
It's crazy.
It's
so
incredible.
give me a question that takes my mind
Okay.
off all this franticness.
Okay, so I have a couple questions, and we'll intersperse them with some other stuff that we'll talk about.
Okay.
So, number one, what is the best thing that you've done just because someone told you that you couldn't?
That I couldn't. Told me that I've done just because I couldn't. Oh my gosh, Veronique, I've done a lot of things without being told I couldn't.
Did anybody ever tell you no? You can't do that. You can't. You don't have the skills.
No.
No.
No. Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Because even with Mamma Mia and the venture I took there, I
Yeah.
thought people might say, well, Judy, you don't dance and you don't sing. You act. So I wouldn't go there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't if I were you. But nobody did. They
No.
thought I was up for the challenge, and
Yeah.
I took it, and I went with it.
Good for you.
I'm just thinking of something that I've always done what I wanted to do, basically, with
Good for
support
you.
of friends and family.
Yeah.
What about you?
Probably some things in my career where people have said, no, you shouldn't try for that promotion because whatever. And I've done it. And I've been really lucky in my career. People have always taken a chance on me, and it's worked out for them and for me. But I've had some really amazing people in my life that have taken chances on me in my career.
Yeah, but I think they do that because they feel we're confident to take on new ventures.
Maybe, yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
I think that if we have confidence that we can take on any challenge, then they support that.
That's true.
They don't stop us.
No, that's right.
Yet.
Yes.
Yet.
Yes.
Good one.
You were at a Mothers Against Drunk Driving meeting.
Mothers Against Drunk Driving, yes. I'm really passionate about that
Yeah.
board. It's the Mad Kent Northumberland chapter that I'm on, and we have an amazing board of directors. They're all very special, and it's interesting because all of the board members, with the exception of one of the police officers that attends, have had victims, in the family
Really?
of drunk driving. So they've had either their loved ones had been died, or they've been the impaired drivers injured them, so that they're affected the rest of their life. So they always have a personal story. I don't. I'm just there because I have a real keen interest in trying to prevent all these things from happening if we can, which will never happen, to stop it completely, but to take moves that will
Well, it's amazing that
decrease.
it's still as frequent
It's unbelievable.
as it is.
It's still, drunk driving is on the increase. And then when the marijuana is becoming legalized, like, people don't stop to think that you're impaired, whether it's pills that are in your
No.
system
Oh, yeah, for
or
sure.
too much of this and that marijuana or other.
Or even lack of sleep.
I know, but pills are big.
Big.
So you're driving and the officer stops your car and they can't smell the pills.
Yep.
So they're moving towards doing some things
Really?
about that.
Incredible.
And I just wanted to bring attention to the fact that legislative changes have been made, and it coming into effect will be as of November 1st, right? Coming right up.
Yep.
The introduction of escalating roadside license suspensions for the repeat infractions of the province's Warren Range law, blood alcohol level over 0.05%.
Okay.
There will be addition of vehicle impoundments within the province Warren Range program and vehicle impoundment provisions for novice drivers.
Yep.
And there will also be introduction of mandatory interlocks
Yep.
for drivers convicted of federal impaired driving offenses, and also the introduction of a 24-hour suspension for drivers who are found unfit to drive.
Well, you know what? I'm glad to hear about the interlocks.
Yes,
and
me
for
too.
those who don't know what an interlock is, it's a device that a person who has been charged or whatever has to breathe into before they can start their car.
Yes.
So it's connected to the mechanism inside the engine and all that kind of business. So I'm really glad to hear about the interlocks because I get so frustrated when I hear people have been charged with their 7th, 8th, 9th offense.
Not right.
Drunk driving offense.
No, it should never happen.
And like, how is that possible?
How's that acceptable?
How are they even in a car
exactly
anymore?
No, that's disturbing.
Yeah, so I like the interlock piece because, now there are ways around it. We won't talk about those, but it will be, I think, a deterrent for a lot
And
of
with the
people.
marijuana coming around the corner and trying to get those drug experts into place around the province and the police force, it's going to be a huge task because you have to have that expertise. But however, there's going to be a device that you're going to put your saliva on.
Oh.
So it's a licking on the bar, which
Yep.
will then determine your amount of drugs in your system.
Fantastic.
Okay, so that's coming up.
Fantastic.
And I just want to say that the 30th anniversary for Project Red Ribbon
Yep.
is coming up, so that means Light Up Red.
Okay.
So the 30th anniversary.
That's incredible.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, it's always been there in my mind. So
the Project Red Ribbon. So things will be lit up on the 30th of November.
You know what I found fascinating last year on New Year's Eve, because of course that's one of those nights where there are so many people out and so many people drinking. And in Ottawa, and I know in large cities across the country, they have the Nez Rouge program where you can call someone and they will come get you and your car and drive you home. But what I found fascinating was one of our local establishments here, O'Donoghue's, actually ran the program on their own.
I'm proud of them.
So they asked for volunteers, and they provided a lot of the connections, and people used it. So I thought that was fantastic of them to put that into place, because it really shows a responsible business.
It is fantastic.
Yeah,
and it's being used. That's the main thing.
Exactly. Something very exciting too that the Rotary Club of Chatham just launched not too long ago.
The Rotary Club of Chatham are going to donate 10 pairs of pajamas, size 12 months to size 16 years for both boys and girls, to each of the 10 drop-off locations on Wednesday, November 1st. And that's a total of 100 pairs of pajamas, children's pajamas, to launch the first ever Miramichi Pajama Drive.
Yep.
And these PJs and all others donated from the 1st of November to December 9th will keep our children warm this winter.
Isn't that
and
wonderful?
The drop-off locations will be the showroom of any one of the 10 new car dealerships in Miramichi. So that would be Lounsbury's Chev Buick GMC, Miramichi Chrysler Dodge Jeep, Miramichi Honda, Miramichi Kia, Town Ford, Town Mazda, Trevor's Hyundai, Trevor's Nissan, Roussel Toyota, and Roussel Volkswagen.
Well, isn't that amazing? One, that all of those dealerships and businesses got involved.
Exactly.
And to see that come from the Rotary Club of Chatham, that's wonderful.
I'm so pleased. And is it not something that you recall as a child being exceptionally happy to receive a new pair of pajamas?
Mom and Santa. Santa also gave me a new pair every year, but
Yeah.
Mom gave me my fun pajamas, and Santa gave me my special pajamas every year. And I remember opening them every year and being so excited.
Because they're warm, they're cozy, and they're colorful a lot of times. They have something on them that means something to you, whether it's Disney characters or Barbie dolls as a kid.
Yeah.
Just anything that you love.
Yeah.
Themes for the Marvel characters,
I know.
Spider-Man. Kids love that stuff.
So many. I know.
But what do you think of those onesie pajamas? I can't get into those.
I can't either.
Gerard bought me a pair.
No.
And has a moose on the behind. It says bare bottom. There's something you'd wear in the woods, and they're cozy, they're fun, and if you're sitting around a fireplace, they're nice. But when you have to go to the washroom, they're very inconvenient.
I know.
So they're cute, but a hassle.
I can't. Not for an adult. I can't do it.
But they're selling.
They're cute. I know. They're adorable.
Everyone's wearing them.
Yeah, I can't picture it though.
Mm-hmm.
Now, just as an aside note to the Rotary Club, so the Rotary Club of Newcastle had their Paul Harris Fellowship the other night.
I could not make it, and I was very regretful that I was out of town.
I know. And two of our favorite people were honored.
They were.
Paula Drillin and Patty Quinn. So congratulations to both of them. That was wonderful.
People.
And the Paul Harris Fellowship is the highest honor that a Rotary Club can bestow upon someone. And really, for them to have been chosen was quite an honor. So.
Do you remember the year that Gerard and I received the Paul Harris Fellow? Were you emceeing that?
No, but you know what? Shelley Hare was.
Okay.
But it was a surprise for you.
For me, I was just shocked.
Yeah, no, actually, you were the MC.
Okay, that's folks.
That's it.
I was. That's taking
You
me
were
back
the
a few
MC,
years.
yeah. You
I
were
was
the MC.
for the Paul Harris night.
And Gerard knew that he was receiving, but nobody knew that you were.
But I didn't.
And so they asked me to present it to you.
Exactly. So I'm at the microphone. I'm congratulating everybody on these Paul Harris Fellows and saying they so deserve it and blah, blah, blah. And then Shelley takes over or the microphone, brings you up and says, we're going to present Judy with one.
I know.
So it was a trick. I'm not usually tricked into things.
No, but we knew, because of course the whole family was there, and they knew that the whole family would be there. And so, but they thought that not only, of course, was Gerard exceptionally deserving, but so were you.
It was nice as a couple to receive it at the same time. And it means a lot to me. So congratulations to the wonderful Patty Quinn and Paula Drillin, who they both do so much for our community.
Yes. Well, and it's a big week for Patty.
Yes, it is.
So
it's year,
I know. So on Saturday, for the James M. Hill Memorial High School alumni and friends, you and Patty and Mayor Adam Lord, all friends of the show, of course, are going to be inducted into the Wall of Fame.
I know. The Wall of Fame.
I know.
It definitely wouldn't be for athletics. It would have to be for something I've done outside the school or within the school over the years.
Yeah.
But I'm humbled by it, Veronique. I find it embarrassing. I love giving accolades to other
Yeah.
people. I love showcasing people who have done things. But when the limelight's on me, I'm fine with the stage because you're acting.
Of course.
And I'm fine with public speaking because your material's there, you're delivering a message.
And it's not
and
about
it's
you.
not about you.
I know,
and
exactly.
when you're reading in church, you're
Yep.
standing at the
Yep.
podium and you're reading, it's not about you. It's
No.
about getting the message across. So we are a lot in the limelight.
Yeah.
And it's not
But it's
being
never
there-
about us.
But it's not about us.
Yeah.
Ever. So when it is about me, I feel really
Awkward.
awkward. How's that? Awkward and humbled.
I understand totally.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I understand
I
totally.
don't like it.
No.
But I have to be there.
Well, and it's funny because
But thank you all the same.
Well,
I'm
and
very,
you
I'm
totally
very happy
deserved.
to be
Totally
chosen.
deserved.
Thank you.
But it's funny. Last year, I was very honored to receive the Woman of Influence.
I know.
And it was really hard. I gave the longest speech in history.
I loved your speech.
But it was hard because I talked about how I felt I didn't deserve it, and a dear friend that I've known for a few years, she took me to task after that.
I did too. I thought it was terrible.
She sent me a message and she said, like you need to stop,
Beating
that
yourself
stuff,
up.
right? But it's funny, people don't often understand because we're typically, we're on TV, and I have no fear doing all that stuff, but we all have our insecurities, and we all feel sometimes that we're not worthy.
But you are, and you were,
But
and your message.
But it's hard to get over that sometimes.
Okay.
And I was so thankful because there were so many people in my life, and you being one of them, who have been so influential in my life, right? But it's hard because as much as I want to know and feel like I've done some good in my life and that I've impacted others, it's hard sometimes to feel like I am worthy.
Well, you certainly. Who's done more? Like I said, you've been
Well,
involved
we've
in
all done it. We've all
everything.
done something.
I just don't like people praising you when you're standing there and talking about
know, it's
yourself.
hard.
And
It's hard.
But I like again, thank you to those I've chosen and Veronique for your support and for everybody that's going to be there.
Yeah,
Very
we're
nice.
pretty excited. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a family outing, of course.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to it.
So you've not mentioned my mask yet. You don't really like
beautiful.
it. I didn't wear one because I thought this was just
was
this would
enough?
suffice. Yes.
Do you dress up for Halloween?
I used to, but I used to wear a costume thinking that if I was scary enough at the door, it would keep the kids away.
Sure.
It made them come all the more.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to see what I was going to be the next year.
Right.
So now I just go as I am. I stand there for 4 hours.
I have worn the same cat ears and cat makeup nose for the last 15 years.
You can come to my house and help me divvy out the
No,
treats.
I'm good.
Oh my heavens.
I'll let you do that one all on your own. So I have another question for you.
Do you know?
What was your favorite toy as a child?
Barbie.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just a Barbie. It was the whole network. I had a Barbie pavilion.
Consortium.
I had a Barbie emporium. I had every Barbie, every Ken, every outfit you could possibly name. Barbie beds, Barbie buses,
Really?
Barbie cars, everything. I was a Barbie girl.
Really? Eh?
Loved them.
Yeah.
Until I was not very old. I put them away last year. I've
Good.
moved on to better things. What about you, Vera?
Miss Piggy Sheets and Melissa, who was a Cabbage Patch Kid.
Oh.
So we're about to go to break now. So we're so excited for what's coming next. Go grab a coffee, warm up, and curl up and have a chat with us. We'll be right back. Hi, and welcome back to Have a Chat. I'm your host today, Veronique Arsenault, with my wonderful co-host, Judy Loge.
Yes, we're back for part 2 of our show.
I know, as long as you didn't get blown away on the break.
Yes.
It was terrible. But we are very pleased to have these two wonderful women here join us. We have Ellen Way, registered nurse, and Dr. Jill Watts, both from the Oncology Clinic. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you. And you're busy, and we appreciate you taking time out of your schedules to be here.
No problem.
We know how important your jobs are, and so we'll get right to the meat of why you're here.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, Ellen, and how we ended up with you here today.
Okay, well, I'm a registered nurse, but I'm also a resident of Miramichi. I've lived here my whole entire life at some point on the river, and I graduated in 1989 from the University of New Brunswick in Fredericton as a registered nurse. And so I've had a career of 29 years as a nurse, but also the last 10 years I've been the oncology coordinator at our Miramichi Oncology Clinic.
Wow.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
That's
It's a big
incredible.
role.
Yeah, yeah. So
And Dr. Watts, for you?
I'm originally from Labrador, and I've been a family physician now for almost 30 years.
Oh, wow.
And initially I worked in Labrador and then northern Saskatchewan.
Uh-huh.
And then we moved here in 1992. My husband's Dr. Ninian Slorak. He's a
Yes.
family doctor here as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we have 3 children, and they're all in university as
Hard
of
to
this
believe.
year. So
Knowing this
nester.
lady, knowing the children,
Yeah.
Are you feeling the empty nest
Oh,
a
I
little
just
bit?
love it.
Yeah.
And,
I'm loving it.
I hear that more and more,
Yeah.
actually.
So family doctor since here since 1992, but I started in the oncology clinic in 2011, and I've been
Alright.
working for 6 years now in the oncology
You're loving.
clinic.
I mean, you're loving that
Mhm.
element
Oh,
of
yes, yeah.
getting to the root of so many people's terrible medical, like cancers.
Yeah, and it's a really fulfilling job. I still am a family physician and very much enjoy that as well.
Mhm.
So I do that as well as the oncology clinic,
Busy woman.
and they're both enjoyable practices, and this is what I do.
Well,
How
let-
long has the oncology clinic been in our hospital?
well, we have offered oncology services for several years. When we had the 2 hospitals, we had the Hotel Dieu and also Miramichi. So we offered chemotherapy services at both places, but it wasn't a coordinated effort or any clinic. So when we moved to the Miramichi Regional Hospital, we still have had a few chemo services, but we didn't have a dedicated staff and clinic and everything like that. So some proposals went forth, and we got some money through the Department of Health back in 2007.
Okay.
And I started in January of 2008, and then all the team members followed from there.
Could you talk about the team members who was all involved in the oncology clinic on a daily basis?
Sure. So we have actually several nurses that are oncology certified, which is another certification you have to obtain because it's its own specialty. We have an excellent administrative assistant, Bridget Donovan.
Yes, she
Yes,
would be.
she is. She keeps all of us, on
Yeah,
task.
she's a firecracker.
Oh yes, yeah. And then we also have a social worker, Melanie Robishaw, and we have a dietitian, Lisa Doucette.
Oh, okay.
We have a physiotherapist, Wendy Williston.
Excellent.
See, now those are all pieces that
excellent.
you wouldn't expect to see, I guess, in in
No,
that kind of
no.
a clinic. So it's quite amazing.
No,
But
no.
that's all part of the recovery, right?
That's right. It's a whole team that works together, and we really do work together. We have, team meetings, and we regularly meet to discuss, different aspects of care for the cancer patients here in Miramichi.
Wow.
So some of the cancers that you do treat are breast, lung, colorectal, prostate, lymphoma, and other blood cancers. Multiple myeloma is in there. Ovarian, endometrial, pancreatic, and melanoma, and brain cancer, these are all very tough to even talk about. So how does the whole process work? I mean, there would be probably the top ones would be breast and colorectal cancers.
Right, yeah. So how things work is that when a patient is diagnosed with a cancer, they are usually the diagnosis is made here with investigations, and then when we do know what we're dealing with, they're then referred to the oncologist. Our tertiary center is mainly Moncton, and and there are 2 oncology centers in Moncton.
Okay.
There's Moncton City and there's the Georges Dumont.
They both
So we have patients that go to both centers with that, okay? There are 5 medical oncologists, I believe, in Moncton City, and the equivalent amount in the Georges Dumont. The Georges Dumont is also our radiation center as well,
Yes.
and they have, I believe, 3 or 4 radiation oncologists at the center. So once they're diagnosed, seen by the oncologist, and then deemed on which kind of chemotherapy that is to be started, then they are usually started in Moncton. And then depending on what their treatments are, they will either, they usually are started first cycle in Moncton, and then if they're deemed okay to come to our clinic, then they can see us for subsequent cycles. So if I take you through
Breast cancer?
yeah,
You want to start with
was
colorectal?
colon cancer,
Colon.
probably easier. So with colon cancer, they're usually started, and the colon cancer is almost always every 2 weeks that they get treatments, okay? And 2 treatments equals 1 cycle.
All right.
So if they start their cancer treatment, the first cycle in Moncton, then they can come up in 2 weeks for their second day 15, we call it.
Great.
And then usually we see them for subsequent cycles. And then when they're undergoing treatment for colon cancer, they almost always have a CT scan or a CAT scan done every 3 months. So we would see them up until then. Then they have their CAT scan done, then they're seen by their oncologist, and then they carry on from there. So that's how it works usually with that, okay? Breast cancers, there's different kinds of breast cancers, there's different kinds of treatments for breast cancer, so
Aggressive, some are more aggressive, and some are more mild.
It depends on things, but in general, they are seen for typical breast cancer, usually seen for 4 cycles, and then again started in Moncton, we can follow, and then when the oncologists want to see them, they can see them there, okay? Right. And so that's basically how it works with
it's
that.
It's amazing though to have the oncology clinic here, because that travel is an extra burden, right? And emotionally and physically and financially.
You're not well.
No, and it adds already to a very difficult time.
And we just tell patients when they come up, like the oncologists order all the chemotherapy. So we don't do any orders of the chemotherapy. Everything they get the first cycle in Moncton is identical to what they get when they come to things. So we reassure them that that's the same thing that they would have done. So
and we're very close connection with all the centers, and if there's any issue if patient presents to us, then we just pick up the phone, or with technology is wonderful, we can Skype message and things like that. And another thing I wanted to throw in there too is that we also do telehealth clinics. So that enables a person to be able to be seen by their oncologist and not have to do that travel to Moncton. And so many people are very happy with that service because of the travel, and especially with winter coming up, and we don't have that great of roads sometimes.
So you can sit there with the patient, you can talk to the physician, perhaps the specialist in Moncton, that patient sits there with yourself, for example, and you talk back and forth about their condition, how it's improving, what they would suggest for more treatment, that type of thing?
That's exactly it, and Jill usually sits in on those sessions as well. So then we're all on the same page. So we all have the same information, at the same time, see what the treatment plan, if there's any change in treatment plan, depending on, any changes in symptoms, even if, everything is clear and on the day of treatment they come and something, comes up. And another thing I wanted to mention too is we also have pharmacists on our team. We have Ann Napke and Susan Hayes. We used to have Scott Simpson, but Scott took another position in Halifax.
2 ladies now.
Yeah. But anyway, they are a very integral part of the team, and they're there and working right in on our new unit on the 3rd floor.
Very interesting. Tell us about this new unit. There was a ribbon cutting ceremony and an additional, this is a whole new thing actually that you've attained in the last while.
When we first started, we were sharing space with the ambulatory care clinic on the first floor in the hospital, and we were tucked in one room, which was very, very tiny.
Wow.
And plus I had a small office. Ellen and Bridget had to share an office.
And you actually shared your office.
And I shared my office
too tight.
So it was, we definitely needed extra space. We lobbied actually for almost 7 years before. And so we finally got word last year that they would go ahead, and there's a floor in the hospital 3 West that was never used as a ward. It was always office space. So we finally got funding, and they redid it for us. And
Thankfully.
now we have a beautiful space, everything. And we had the grand opening on the 14th of July, and we moved in on the 24th of July. That's right. And it is so much nicer.
Well, given, unfortunately, the number of people that we know that are touched by some form of cancer or another here in the region, we need a space where they can go and feel comfortable and as comfortable as they can be, really, in this particular case, and where they can get the support and services that you all offer, that they so desperately need, obviously.
And one of the big things was privacy.
Of course.
That was, there was absolutely no privacy, to be honest with you.
So there is some privacy now.
And it's much nicer with regards to that.
How does it work? Okay, so example, how many beds are in there? How many can you serve on a given day?
So we have 5 chemotherapy chairs, and they're actually special chairs that are on, electric, and they, move back and forth. And they're particularly for people with chemotherapy treatment. So
right.
that was great because we had donated funds and we're able to purchase those special chairs. So we have 5 chemo chairs. We also have a stretcher in the space so that we can accommodate 6. And then we have a private room. So if there's, somebody comes in and, has needs that extra privacy of a private room, we have that to offer them. And we also have enough space in between the chairs so that someone can sit down and you can have a significant other with you during your treatment.
Very nice.
So that was really important to people, and they weren't able to have that when we were in the space on the first floor.
What ages is it all ages that you treat for give chemotherapy to? No pediatric oncology.
We do in the hospital, but
the
not
hospital.
in the
Oh,
pediatric clinic. They actually have a service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do.
And we did when we first started. We had the children, but probably in the first 6 to 8 months that I was there in 2008, they actually have a pediatrician that oversees those kids so that they're not traveling back and forth to IWK, and they also have specialty oncology pediatric certified nurses, so they can do the treatments there. So no, we don't have that population, but we have the adults.
What's so special about what you're doing is that you're going to see the sad cases where you give chemotherapy and ultimately the person, they can't come around. They just can't fight it any longer, so you lose them. So it's a very emotional job. But then you see the rewards of the treatment prolonging people's lives or curing what they have and all of that. So it must be, can you touch on that, like experience and how good it feels to walk through the patients that are successfully treated?
Well, some of them certainly
Do you celebrate with them when they're done?
And we have a bell. They ring a bell when they're done their treatment, and we had that actually donated by a patient that was having their treatment finished, and so they came back with this nice plaque and a bell to put right up in the chemo room. So that's what we have. Yeah, when they finish treatment, they ring that bell.
Yeah. Well, and that I guess begs the question. So it must be, although very rewarding, very difficult clinic to be in at times.
At times. The majority of the time, though, we have fun.
Yeah.
You make them feel like
we
there's
have laughs,
and we have laughs.
Yeah, of course. We share stories, pictures.
Yeah, but it's not. When people ask you what you do and you tell them, they automatically think all doom and gloom, but that's not what it is.
No, you're seeing progression.
Yeah.
Like if you see somebody with breast cancer in that first treatment, they still require more, but the second one's making them better, and the third one's curing what they might have, and it's got to be some really good moments right in there.
Oh, there is.
Anything else you want to talk about regarding your job and as an oncologist specialist? Jill, why did you have family members or anyone in your background that kind of made you want to go into this?
Well, the thing was, I think most days, oncology is a big thing is from the point of view of family physician, with that. And I always, it's for the care of the patient to try to have them closer to home, to be able to, that's the thing that I kind of look at. And also coordination is a big thing. When you have a clinic here, I know all the GPs here in town, and so I'm sort of a liaison in between the GPs and the oncologists as well.
Yes.
So, and we can try and coordinate care more smoothly for the patient as well, and just to, just help aid that process as they go along.
It's a special area to be dealing with. What about you, Ellen? Was there something that made you want to be in this as the coordinator?
Well, it was a new position. We had never had that position before. I'm always trying to learn something new.
Yeah, I know.
I've changed my position over the years. I've been, previously manager. I've been, working in the cardiac care unit and different places, and gave an opportunity to start a whole new clinic, and it was very near and dear to my heart because I had a couple of aunts that were going through some chemo, and actually even my dad last year, we lost him to cancer.
I'm sorry. So it's been touching.
Yeah, so very touching and very rewarding in order to be able to help so many people. And you just never know who's going to come through the doors, because we start from having 19, 20-year-olds right up to whatever age, because we can treat so many of the different cancers. And as we've grown over the past 10 years, it's certainly a lot more types of cancers and different treatments, because there's always new things coming on the horizon. So
And
we try to keep abreast of those.
Unfortunately, a subject that touches most people.
Oh, everybody knows somebody.
Everybody knows
With
somebody.
cancer.
Does.
Yeah, everybody knows somebody.
And the interesting thing too is that, compared to what it was when I first graduated approximately 30 years ago, to where now people with certain types of cancers just didn't live. They lived months. Now they're living years,
Right.
Exactly.
with the things.
And that's incredible.
Including my own relatives that died of whatever throat cancer back then, and bowel cancer.
So it's becoming almost a chronic disease rather than
Versus a fatal
Yeah.
immediately.
We might have a whole lot of time, but as far as things that we can do to help ourselves, I mean, there are certain things that you can do to prevent colorectal, right? You should be screened, for example, and have your colonoscope. Could you touch on that?
So if you have a family history, it's very important to have screening with colonoscopy. But if you don't have a family history, after 50 you should be getting at least stool for occult blood testing. Okay?
After 50, you should get that done.
And so from that point of view, for any cancer, smoking, excessive drinking, if you look after yourself and eat well, that's the other thing too.
So breast cancer, you said, is secondary now to colorectal. It used to be breast cancer was the most dominant cancer. Now, do you
No,
find
breast cancer was never the most.
it was never?
Yeah, well, the lung and breast
Lung,
are
breast,
still up there,
yeah.
but colorectal is very, very close
Yeah.
to them, and prostate.
and
Those
prostate.
are the
Those
four
are the
top.
four main ones.
And not just for us. I mean, they would
That's
be for
Canada-wide.
Canada-wide.
In general.
In
yeah.
general.
Yeah.
But you certainly, can, even when you're going through treatment, after treatment, you can eat well and you can exercise, and
Yeah.
exercise is wonderful. And you just start in small increments. And
So we
all the
wanna thank-
oncologists are pushing that.
We want to thank you both for coming. What an incredible segment we had, but it's time for a break, unfortunately.
We've learned a lot.
Thank you so much,
thank you
ladies,
very
both Dr. Jill Watts and Ellen Way. We appreciate your time here today.
Very much so.
Now, don't forget, you can still grab a coffee. We still want you to curl up, and we'll see you in a minute. Hi, and welcome back to Have a Chat. We have had a phenomenally full show so far, and there is much more to come. I'm your host today, Veronique Arsenault, with my wonderful, darling, dearest auntie co-host, Judy Loge.
Hi, everybody.
Now, our guest that is joining us right now is a local artist, Rob McGowan.
Yes.
Welcome.
Hi,
So
everybody.
happy you could be here.
Thank you.
We're so excited to
Appreciate
have
the
you,
chance.
and we've both been ogling your pieces since you arrived earlier in the studio. So, for everybody out there, though, we'll start off. Tell us a little bit about you.
Been in Miramichi for about 25 years, raised my kids here. Came from Toronto. My family's originally from here, my mother and everybody.
Yes.
Uh,
2 children you have?
yeah, I have 2 children. Well, everybody knows
Naomi
Naomi. Naomi's been
McGowan.
on
Yeah,
the
of
show
course,
here.
yeah.
He is a talent to be
Yeah.
reckoned with.
and a lot of people know Ty. He's a pretty
Yes.
popular fellow. But yeah, so it's a great spot to bring up kids. Miramichi
is,
is an
it
awesome
is.
place, and we decided to stay here.
Well, we're glad you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm so envious because I said to you before you came on, I was looking at your pieces of art, and I'm so non-artistic when it comes to drawing.
Yeah.
I have other talents, and so does Veronique, but we don't
Yeah.
do any form of art, do you?
No.
And so,
Well, you have to come to paint night. 'Cause
Yeah.
we'll get into that.
Well, and I'll tell you actually, because I really have zero skill when it comes
Me too.
to any kind of drawing or things
Me
like
too.
that. And I was coerced into going to a paint night with another wonderful artist, and it was one of those nights where the reason why I went was because of the subject matter. So it was 2 little owls, and the reason I wanted to go was because my goddaughter and her twin sister, their whole room is owls, and so they have the one and only original Veronique Arsenault owl painting.
That's cool. That's great.
Hanging in their bedroom. That was their first birthday gift.
Did you love it though?
No, I'm not good at it, so I didn't enjoy it, but I would really actually love to learn.
Oh, it's great. And well, with the paint nights as well, we do.
They're fun.
I break the lesson down before I do it.
Okay.
So I experiment. I try it with people. I have my wife and guinea pigs and people who
Sure.
I say
Yes.
because they don't paint. My wife and my son.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I get them at home. I test if they can't do it, then I redo it, and I make it in a way that you
yeah.
can learn how to do it.
Yeah.
And then, so by the time it gets there, so you do the painting, and then I put the lesson up online as well.
Okay.
With a breakdown of everything that you did that night. So if you want to go back to it, so sometimes paint night, you're having fun with your friends, drinking,
Yeah.
whatever.
So paint night, is that the Miramichi Golf and Country Club?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
tell us about that specifically, what people do and what
So-
time it's at and the details.
Thursday night from 6:30 to 8:30. You come up. You can go for supper before at the restaurant if you like, but you come in and basically sit down, we go through a painting. I paint it up front with you, and you paint along with me as we go, and have a sip of wine or
That's
whatever
very
you like.
nice. The bar's open if you want to have a nice
Yep.
glass.
Yeah.
You paint better when you have a little glass of wine.
Yeah,
Yes.
I feel it's more
sure.
a social event.
It is
Yeah.
a social
So
event.
it's a way to meet people and get a chance to learn how to paint at the
Yeah.
same time.
Is there a fee, obviously, to go there?
Oh yeah, for the paint nights themselves, it's $45. That includes a glass of wine.
That's very nice.
And your canvas, all your supplies are.
Oh.
You get everything, and at the
Yeah.
end of the night, you take home a painting.
Well, that's a
as
really
well.
good idea.
So for your money, you're getting a painting, a night out,
Really?
a drink of wine, and an art lesson.
And you do think I'm teachable. You do think there's hope for me.
Everyone is teachable.
Okay, well, that's great.
Judy, I
to
painted the
know.
2 owls. So
You
if I
painted owls.
painted the 2 owls, you can learn.
Well, so so you can go as a couple, you could go with a group of women.
Sure.
You have to call, book ahead. We'll get that at the end of the program, how we contact
you can go right onto the golf course website. You can call me directly, or you can go to artistrobmcgowan.com, and there's a link there.
Okay.
And it's Miramichi Golf and Country Club in Bushville, which
Yes.
is obviously Miramichi.
Now, how did you learn? Like, did you one day pick up a brush, or did you take classes, or are you
You
self-taught?
prodigy?
I don't know if prodigy is a word, but I've always painted since I was a little kid. My mom used to have these rolls of insulation in the basement. I probably was about 7 years old, and I would roll them out and paint, at that time, religious murals on these great
Really?
big rolls of paper. And I don't know why I did it, or
Yeah.
whatever, but it was just something I always did.
Amazing.
And they weren't even that good back then, but I just loved to do it. And then over the years, slowly you get a little better at this, and a little bit like anything. If you do it enough, you get
Perfected.
Yeah.
yeah. You never really perfect art. I find you just it's something. Even today, I'll paint a painting. My wife thinks I'm crazy because sometimes I take over the whole house. There's paintings everywhere now and easels. Now that I started again, it's all over the place. But so you put up a picture, paint for 15 hours, and go, no, don't like that. I'll wash it all over in 2 seconds and just
Really?
yeah. So I'm obsessive in getting the right thing. Now people think, oh, I can't paint a perfect cloud or a perfect this.
Yeah.
And the biggest drawback for people painting is they try to paint something in a perfect shape.
Yeah.
Or
Yes.
nothing is perfect.
That's,
Right.
Well, I thought that's disappointing. I thought we were.
Well, he doesn't mean us.
That's a letdown.
Oh, yes.
He doesn't mean us, Judy. We're
No,
perfect,
no,
obviously.
exactly.
So yeah, so it's basically what you want to do is pick out the main thing that gives you a feeling. So we were talking earlier about how I get an idea to paint
Yeah, I
something.
wanted to know what inspires you.
Well, say you're driving up a road, like an old country road or something, and you'll see an old farmhouse there, and the sunlight's just hitting a certain way, and you think, oh, that's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. We've seen hundreds of farmhouses,
Yeah.
but you pull over and you're
That
like,
one's
wow,
captures
that's
you.
really nice.
Yeah.
If I could paint, I would paint that or
Yeah.
something like that. Well, in my case, I do. I get out and
Right.
draw it or whatever, or take a photo and
Or sketch and then take
Yeah.
it back with you, at least get the outline, and then you paint it.
And then it's not even, it might not be that farm, but it gave me that idea. So what was it about that particular farm made me
Right.
feel good that day, or reminded me of my grandmother, or reminded me of, being a little kid at the table. And
Emotions play a big
Parent-
part in what you paint. Your
Yeah.
emotional
so,
side.
And I'm always trying to find a way in my painting. How can I convey that to somebody else so that they can have that feeling? Because
It's true.
when you hit that painting and everybody gets that feeling, then obviously
it's a
for me
hit.
it's a hit. They're going to sell. I might paint 100 paintings, but that one is the
I
one that
know.
caught that
Well,
that
this
idea.
one
Yeah, I know, I
is
was gonna say, let's show some
absolutely
of those.
spectacular, Rob.
These are a couple old prints with just different ideas.
I don't know how close you can get. This is a beautiful fall scene, and the colors are nothing less than spectacular. There's a horse and a dog. It looks like a little collie, is it? And a
Yes.
woman, a beautiful woman, actually. Is that your wife?
Yes.
Wow. And so, was this taking just in September when the leaves were all starting to change? Tell us about it.
Well, this many years ago, my wife's a big horse woman. She loves
Okay.
horses, and she went to school, taught horseback riding for a lot of
Keep
years.
it up there. It's beautiful.
For a lot of years.
Yeah.
And so we had a horse farm, and she just, I wanted to have something. We don't have horses anymore, and I needed something.
Do you have the dog? Is that part? Is that
No,
part?
no. This is many years ago. I pulled out of the drawer from probably 35 years ago.
Oh, I
Okay.
love that.
Yeah.
The colors are stunning.
Yeah, it was one of those ones, so it captures that idea of like, everybody wants a horse and a dog, and
I
that
know.
perfect laneway between the trees going down to that nice house.
Colors.
Let's take a look at the.
And that was the kind of idea I was
yeah.
trying to capture.
Well, you
with
captured
that.
it.
Yeah, let's take a look at the boat one. It's
Look at this.
And
yeah.
this here, this is just a place in Peggy's Cove.
Oh.
Everybody goes and they paint the lighthouse
Oh, of course.
every
yeah.
time, right?
And I've not even
Which I
been
have.
there, so now I feel like I'm
either.
I'm
But-
there.
Me either.
I was walking around the corner, I thought, Well, look at this part of Peggy's Cove. It's more of the history of
Look at the water.
the old
You
thing.
feel like you're right in it. Like it's you feel like you
can step into that
You
boat.
captured a moment of somebody's day.
Yeah.
That's what I feel.
And
like.
this-
Serenity.
Now, see, this isn't a detailed, spectacular painting. It's just something we did on the side of the road there.
Yeah.
I think it's
in an
pretty
hour, but
amazing. Look at.
enough to capture what you needed
Yeah.
at the
Oh,
time.
I love that.
Now, do you do commissions as well? So if I had a piece that I really wanted,
We can, if I like it.
yeah,
Reason being, commission paintings are more, how do I say it?
Non-personal.
Yeah.
Like they're not-
It's
they don't
not
mean a lot
something
to
I
you.
can, I like to get a painting that I can do a print and sell prints and share with everybody.
right, yeah,
So if you do a commission painting, you can do it, and I do it sometimes. You know,
Just
depending on the story or why.
Yeah.
Like you were telling me the story about your mom, and
Yeah.
I thought that was an interesting story, so I
Yeah.
would probably do something like that.
yeah,
Wow.
But in general, I don't just do, like, people send faces and paint pictures.
yeah.
I did that for a while, and I
Wasn't-
didn't like it, didn't enjoy it.
Didn't
at
mean a
all.
lot to you.
Yeah.
Who is
Yeah.
this lovely lady? Is this an invention or is
No,
like
it was
that's
a model at the time.
gorgeous a
But
model?
I went through a series where I was painting women, and I
Mm-hmm.
got fascinated with trying to capture different skin tones
Yes.
with colors that our skin tone wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Which way?
Yeah, Sean,
So
yeah.
to me,
Our
one of the most
producer will flash it
beautiful
on there in a
parts of a
second.
woman is the back and shoulder. I think that's one of the most gorgeous
Yeah.
parts of a female
Yeah, they're quite
anatomy.
amazing, yeah.
Myself.
Yeah.
And she's got a pose. So how long would this take to do something like this now?
This probably was about 15 hours.
15 hours.
Yeah.
Incredible.
You have to get the sculpted arms and her expression. Even though her face is
Well,
tilted, you can still see the look on her face.
You paint something, and then you go back in and you say, I didn't like that, and you take it out and you paint it until it gets that feeling. She might have had her arms over her head in the first
Sure.
part, or down,
Right.
or like I changed
Yeah.
it each time.
I just love that. And I think the earring, just the detail of that alone with the
Yeah.
white dress,
Beautiful.
the simplicity of it all makes it really beautiful.
Yeah.
But
Right.
to do leaves and things, how like to do actual foliage such as this, that must take hours.
Well, in that particular case, it's a real simple one.
Oh,
Painting is you master techniques, which you'll learn in the class.
okay.
Uh,
With my wine, yes.
yeah, it could be as simple as a knife, a toothbrush. There's all kinds of things you can do that.
Oh.
Once you know what you want to happen on the canvas, it's easy to do.
But it looks
should-
so detailed, these leaves, like there's so many, there's hundreds of them.
Well, it's the light and the dark that makes it
Appear that way.
appear that way.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow,
There's no actual. I might have taken a big fan brush that I've spread it and just smashed on the canvas, and then put a couple of details here and there just to make it look detailed, but there's no details in it.
I know you can learn, but I think it's a God-given talent that you've been
Oh,
able to-
yes.
No,
Well,
it's
it's
like
like
it's a
a-
gift. It's a gift for sure. Even though you can teach
Sure.
other people to do whatever they can do, to inherit that type of skill and be able to put your feelings actually on
Passion,
paper
yeah. You have to have
is
the passion.
amazing.
We can all learn the skill. We all don't have the passion.
Or
That's the way to put it.
the finesse to do such a job.
Yeah.
What about this one, Rob? You might want to show the viewers.
This one here, yeah, it's another what we were talking about, the sort of
Home.
grandmother style with the the old farm, and so I was trying to get a few of the paintings that capture those feelings. Place I happened to drive up to or whatever and seen it.
In New
wow.
Brunswick?
Yeah.
Yes, not too far away. So that farmhouse brings back a lot of memories for many people because my mother, for example, grew up where she lived in a beautiful home such as that, but it was different. You know, it was just it was a beautiful white home. But that stirs something up in me to
Brings
look
you
at
back
that.
to
Yes, I feel
childhood,
like I
right?
could walk down that memory lane myself.
Yeah. And isn't that amazing? Art evokes such feeling, right? Whether it be music or a painting or a picture, it's how that artist transmits that to the rest of us. But it can instantly bring you back to a moment in time, right? Where you think about grandma or you think about mom,
Picking
or
apples in the orchard, whatever.
or that favorite fall you had,
And art, yeah, and there's all kinds of ways, different art forms, of course. Like we're all trying to get that feeling out, express how we feel about something. Some on canvas, some with guitars.
Yeah.
I personally think it's not a good idea to give somebody a piece of art. Like, if I knew that person, if I knew that Veronique had loved something like this, then that's a good thing to do. But if somebody gave me a picture of something that didn't mean or appeal to me at all, I feel compelled to put it up in my house. It's a very personal thing, art, and I've had people give me paintings, actually. One gentleman brought me one that was about 6 feet by, remember that? And he said, I want you to put this in your front hallway.
Oh.
Well, I've kept it there simply out of honoring this gentleman who personally brought me this huge painting and said, put it in your front hallway. and it's still there, and he's passed on, and I don't have the heart to move it.
I was going to say,
But I would never.
not watching.
But I would no. He's listening. But I would never have chosen that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Your home is a certain decor,
For
and
sure.
certain things have to fit it.
Yeah.
Well, paintings, you can do decorative paintings,
Yeah.
you know, where you just paint them and you take them down and
They're
pass
there.
them on, and
Yeah.
those are, you can vary your paintings all the time, that's fine.
So how do we get
Unless
hold
it's a
of you?
personal thing that, you know, a painting of your father or a
Right.
painting of something that special in your life, you want to keep that forever.
That's right. But
But
if I
other
gave
paintings
her a
can be
painting of a
done.
snake, I mean, that's just not appropriate.
I don't love you.
Yeah.
I don't love you.
Do you know what I'm
I
saying?
have-
She's got a terrifying
yeah.
fear of these, so that would just be something that I would never give her because I love her.
Well, if you gave me anything snake related, I'd be awful ticked.
I have a closet full of paintings from like aunts and people have given me paintings
Right,
over the years. and
right.
So
stuff
where
for
can we
customers.
purchase your paintings?
How do we
Rob?
get a hold
Do you have
of
a
you?
viewing
Right now you can just go online
online and look at them?
and go to the paint night. You can go online and see the different prints and things.
Oh,
And
we can?
as I do a new painting, each week I'm putting it up online because I haven't
Oh.
painted in 10 years. I just started back in the last
Why is
year.
that? Why is that hiatus?
Well, you probably remember years ago seeing me in the markets with my
I
kids
have.
under
Yeah.
the table and sleeping
Yes.
and traveling. So just got too much for.
You
Yeah.
need
business
to
stuff.
break.
And then the recession tanked and stuff. Painting wasn't a big thing on people's priority, you know, to buy
Ah,
artwork. So
that's right.
between all of that, I dropped out for a while and went to work and did other things.
Now you're back strong and as good
Yeah,
as
and now
better
it's
than ever.
So give us
kids
your
are grown
website.
up and I'm ready to travel and do and have fun again and
Beautiful.
paint and
Give us your website so everybody can find you.
artistrobmcgowan.com.
Okay.
Artist Rob McGowan.
Are you on
MC,
Facebook?
G-O-W-A-N.
And yeah, or artist Rob McGowan on Facebook,
On Facebook as well? Okay. Wonderful.
So this is in your class.
Now
and
this is what we're painting this week. So if you
Oh.
go to, so this is the test one.
Mm-hmm.
So I painted one up and I had my wife and my son and his girlfriend do it.
For this
so,
Thursday coming.
So
at
this
the golf
Thursday
club.
coming, this is what you should be able to accomplish.
Oh,
You and I could probably do
I
that,
think
Judy.
I might be able to handle that, Rob.
Yeah, you and I could probably do that.
So after 2 glasses of wine, I would probably have this part.
I'd have the blue part. No, but you know what though, Judy, as I said, I did attend another paint night, and I was surprised because the artist really did lead us through, you know, how to make it look like it was supposed to look, which was amazing to me because I'll tell you, when I did a self-portrait when I was in grade 1, and her face was blue.
Oh.
That
all
is she was a stick figure and her face was blue. So that was the extent of my talent. It never progressed past
I'm
that.
with you.
That was it. But I
just
was able
never
to draw
know.
the 2 owls and make it look the way I was supposed to look. So
The session is from 6:30 to 8:30.
Yes.
So we go in, we get set up, you give us our canvas, we get our brushes and our paint
Yeah,
and all
it's
of that.
It's all there ready for you to go. You just come in and sit down and
Yeah.
we have a little 5-minute chat, let you know what we're going to do, and then I start and I go through the first part of the painting. And you paint it, I come around, check it,
Check
make sure if it's going well, anything happened or anything, and I usually have a couple other people with me, depending on how many people are there that night,
Yes.
to help out. And that's it.
Progress
We just go
through
through it and go through the whole
well, we
artwork
really want to
together.
thank you for coming today.
Oh, I enjoyed it. It was a great chance.
I'm impressed.
Your works are beautiful, and so we want to make sure that everybody can get a hold of you again. Your website is?
ArtistRobMcGowan.com.
Okay. So we want everyone to make sure to head out to one of these paint nights on Thursday night.
6:30.
Or get a hold of
Can I
Rob.
just say one more thing?
Quick.
Also, we're if you have a charity or a church and you want to do a paint night to raise funds and stuff, I'll do that as well for you.
Great.
Oh,
Different
nice.
places.
Wonderful.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
And we want to thank all of our guests today. We had a wonderful show.
Yes.
And
Happy Halloween.
A happy Halloween. Have a great week this week. Don't go too far. Make sure that you're back with us next Monday. And we're looking forward to a fantastic week and a month of November with all of you. So thank you again, Rob, for coming out today.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much.
It's been fun.
And don't go too far. Make sure you check us out on Facebook. Let us know how we're doing. Check in with us. Say hi, whatever you may say. And thanks, Judy, for hanging out with me this
It's
week.
been fun, very unique.
I know, it's
We're
been
into
a
our
good
3rd year now. Fourth season.
Fourth.
Uh-huh.
Hard to believe. All right, we'll see y'all next week again. Take care.